Do you own a World Rally Blue Subaru and are paranoid about the paint? Well, you should be, because this could happen to you too. I've had this car for 8 years. It's a 2013. The paint's 10 years old. It's seen its fair share of sunlight and heat damage. I want this car to stay as nice and clean-ish, an example of an original BRZ, for as long as possible. Am I a paint and body guy? Absolutely not. Do I know a few things? Yes. Do I have a paint gun and a compressor and some paint? Yes. Is it going to be perfect? I don't know. I did paint this car like 6-7 years ago. So, oh God, it's been that long. If I didn't tell you that I painted that in my buddy's backyard, you probably would have never guessed. But I did. It looks pretty good. Now, the problem with the paint on the BRZ. I've never painted anything quite like this before because this is technically a 3-stage paint job. I've never painted with 3-stage paint before. So what that means is there's 2 base coats and 1 clear coat. I've got 2 different blues to lay down and a clear coat to lay down. But what I'm going to do is, instead of painting it all on the car, I'm going to remove the pieces that need to be painted off the car, because technically they are accessory components anyway, and we'll do them off the car. I hope it won't be too difficult, but we'll find out. Going into this, I knew that they had changed the paint code for the World Rally Blue paint on Subarus somewhere around 2015. There's 2 different paint codes, O2C and K7X. O2C being up to 2015, K7X being later. Now, knowing this, I did some research and somehow I found that K7X was what I needed. So I went to the paint store and ordered K7X. And this morning, last night, I'm doing some research, getting ready to do this, you know, just kind of, I need a refresher. It's been like 6 years since I painted a car. And I realized that I got the wrong paint. And I'm not gonna go get the right stuff. Gonna be honest with you guys. I messed up, but that paint is really expensive and I'm not gonna go pay for it twice. So I'm just gonna spray what I have on here and cross our fingers that it turns out kind of nice. And if you're interested in touching up your own BRZ, I'll show you the supplies and everything that I'm using. You may be able to even just lay some clear coat over this. I should try that first. Yeah. Oh well, we'll worry about that later. I'll just go ahead and spray it. But anyways, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button, follow along. That way you get notifications and all that fun stuff whenever we do fun stuff and we post fun stuff. Now for starters, I gotta figure out how to remove this thing. Very slowly, because I feel like, yeah, I'm gonna go get a hand tool because I don't want to ruin that. Uh-oh, that's not good. Well, so that's not very good. They put Loctite apparently on these bolts. Here we go. All right. These press in on the outside, and these you just kind of have to push through. So, removing the spoiler, I just found the best way possible, I think. Start with the white tabs, break them free, and then loosen up the green ones. But when you go to actually remove it, start with one side and work your way over. I now have, I think, just this one here to go, and this one over here. There we go. Look how raunchy that spoiler looks. That's 10 years of filth. Good thing I wash my car somewhat, sometimes. So now that the spoiler's off, just gonna go get it sanded down, clean it up, get it prepped for paint. As you can see, got all my clips still in here, and there was only one casualty right there. So I'm gonna have to get that out of there somehow. I think I'll be able to screw that out. See what we can do. Let me start by saying you can never go wrong with old tools. I was able to drill and tap this hole and get it back to how it's supposed to be. Now, I'm gonna flip this over and we're just gonna sand it down. I've got some 800 grit sandpaper in there. I don't wanna sand it all the way down, but I do wanna get at least the top layer off. All right, so I'm gonna clean this up. Gonna sand this. And then maybe I will end up respraying these and this, because that's looking kind of rough. I can't have that done and not this. Yeah, I think we're gonna end up doing that. And we just give that a good pull. Up. Ah, that sounds horrible, but I got off without breaking anything. All right, got it started. It sounds so horrible, but once again, I'm victorious. Now, fender garnishes. Not too bad. There we go. Just peeled right up. Yes. Now today we're just gonna do a quick wipe down. As you can look at me right now and be like, oh Billy, you're getting oily fingers all over those parts. Well, yeah I am. Because tomorrow I'm gonna come through, I'm gonna do all this all over again. But alright, so it's been a while since I've used this thing and needed to get it out. I bought this paint kit, like spray gun kit rather, probably, I don't know, 6 years ago when I painted my Z. So it's a DeVilbiss, 2 high volume, low pressure guns. I think one is more for like primer and the other one's more for like finishing, clear coat and all that. Anyways, that's what I used them for. Okay, so here we are. I got pretty much everything set up. I'm going over it now with this tack cloth. It's a little bit sticky and it'll pick up any extra residue or material that may have been left behind. Ooh. That's so nice. Can't get you out of my mind. Stuck on feeling for the first time. Been thinking about you all night. I've been searching for this all my life. You're just my type. I've been looking for a boy who can treat me right. Your dark hair with those eyes so bright. They look into my soul and it sparks my life. Can I take you there? Like it was the first time. Do you remember? Can I take you there? Back to when we felt like this was forever. Can I take you there? So I've got my first couple coats done here. I always lay the first coat down very light, very faint. That way it gets some tackiness into it. And if you lay it down too thick at first, you'll end up with a lot of runs in the paint, which is obviously no bueno. We can't have any runs. But so far, it's looking pretty good for a base coat. I actually think this is gonna turn out really sweet here with the chrome. Simply because the chrome adds some extra shine to it, since it's like a shinier base coat. I am getting ready to set up for the top base coat, which is almost like it's basically a blue clear. We're back. I'm gonna get the clear coat set up now. Gonna mix that. Clear coat mix is a little bit different than base coat. I can't leave clear coat sitting for any extended period of time because it'll turn into a gel. We can't have that because you can't spray a gel, obviously. That clear coat nice and right. So I got my painted parts here, my spoiler and my fender garnishes, as well as my skull caps, side view mirror caps, whatever you want to call them. Everything's all done. It's all been dried for about probably an hour now or so. I'm gonna go ahead. It does need to go through some wet sanding and finish process. There are some spots in it that I'm really not happy about. This is one of them. Overall, compared to what it was, considering it was chipped and peeling and there was basically no clear coat left on the spoiler, I'm happy with it. It's good preparation. If anything, worst case scenario, none of these parts are hard to remove. I'll pull them off and I'll respray them at a later date. So we're back today. I went ahead and threw on a fender garnish and my side mirror cover last night, actually, just to see how they line up to the old paint. And honestly, it's not that far off. It is noticeable, but it's not too terribly far off. I'm gonna go ahead and run it because normal person's not really gonna notice any difference. So for today, we're gonna go ahead and wet sand this because obviously, I don't know if you can see there are quite a few little black specks. Unfortunately, when I was painting, I didn't clean my gun properly first before I used it, and those were some of the specks that had drained out of it as it was spraying. Overall, generally speaking, it's not too bad. The paint came out pretty good. The paint itself came out pretty good. I do need to go ahead and wet sand, kind of blend some of this, because like all this, I want to get rid of all that old, all the fresh paint that's on there, bring it back to its original shade. Gotta be transparent with y'all. I was just wet sanding and I ran into a little bit of a boo-boo here. I got a little too rough in some areas with the 800 grit and it went all the way through the blue paint. Now this part here I didn't touch yesterday with the new paint because I thought there was enough paint on there because the sun never sees that part, but apparently I was wrong. I don't think Subaru puts any clear coat on their accessories, so I'm gonna go ahead and paint this part now. I gotta mix some paint and get everything set up again. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but I want to do it right. I'm gonna go ahead and respray this and get this done. Okay, so naturally, like everything else, we ran into issues because nothing ever seems to go to plan. As you can see right here, it kind of did a number to itself. The paint was actually wrinkling and lifting right in here, and I did my best to sand it down, and I actually had to redo this about 5 times. It was not fun. It's not pretty, but I am so fed up with it right now that that's just how it's gonna be. Fortunately, it's kind of on the underside of things, and it's towards the edge, so it's not the end of the world, but it does kind of suck because I know it's there.
Yeah, let's go. I ain't the first with the curse, with the thirst that I wanna be better, not worse, man, it hurts. I'm on this earth with my words, and I put them all together, insert, cause I wanna have worth. Working hella hard till they put me in the dirt. Gonna go far, man, listen to my words. Gonna be a star, man, life's like a blur. When you're working this hard, yeah, you get what you deserve. Yeah, I ain't taking a backseat, I'm passing anybody else who is rapping. I'm nasty, ain't nobody able to catch me. They gasping, they cannot compare, they can't match me. I'm at half speed, I got your girl and she laughing and dancing, hanging on my butt, she asking to crash with me, smash with me, she savage, she wants cash money, and she knows that I live lavishly. I wanna live, I'm cold inside, give all I have just to feel alive. I fight to live, I fight to strive, one day I'll have what I want. I want the whole world in the palm of my hand, I got a plan, I'm the man, now I'm teaching the game, a veteran, better than anybody else who tests me. I'm ready, looking in my hand and it's steady. I'm trending, ascending and blending, lyrical bending. Now I'm spreading and getting my name out now. Yeah, they're hearing me laugh, all the crowds repping the sound. I'm hitting the ground, running, up and coming, ain't nothing. Yeah, rookie of the year, I'ma keep it 100. Cold-blooded, no budget, from nothing to something. I ain't bluffing, I got a full hand and a full plan. I ain't gonna stop till I'm at the top, man. Every single drop got me.